Dear chess friends, this is Zhigalko. Welcome on the third video of my series Rising Stars. It's about players under 18 currently on the very top of the world list, and today we are on the number 3, and I will show you a game of Nodirbek Abdusattorov, and it will be from game against Kovalev in 2019 on this Aeroflot tournament. So let's go for it. I was mainly searching for some aggressive games for this video series, but I must admit that with this player it was a bit hard because he seems to be extremely well positional and not actually going to some sharp stuff like you could see in this first game of this series with this Pragananda sacrificing on f7 the rook and all that stuff. It was a bit hard to find a game like this, but okay, when the style when this player has such a positional style, it can be also very interesting to see the games how it's possible such a young player reaching such a top level chess without tactics, mainly okay, of course with the tactics, but mainly with this calmer approach to chess, I would say. So we have some standard Breyer position, and this c4. There's of course standard option to simply play this knight d2, trying to reach g3, but this c4, it's absolutely legitimate approach. I was also checking this once in my preparation, so it's perfectly possible. It's just winning a space, and you just want to play knight c3 and just win the space with d5 later. So c6 happened, knight c3 and b4, knight a4, c5. Okay, this is I think this is what I was preparing. To d5. Load that engine says that it's better to take, but I'm pretty sure that this d5 should be better. It was also within my preparation. You just win the space, and you just want to go for some calm game, trying even to win the a file if it's possible, but also regrouping the knight somewhere, potentially this way later. But okay, it's useful on the queen side. You can prefer to exchange it on b6, for example. And as always, with this extra space, you can have some ideas to just play on the king side with whatever means necessary, or f4, just anything. But it's not structure. You know, from King's Indian, where black has some very strong attacks with move like f5, it's very hard to reach the similar type of position for black in a lot of Lopez positions, because he's not that well prepared for it. That's why black just went rook e8. In King's Indian, you would just go f5, f4, and have the rook for the attack, but it's just much harder to achieve in all this kind of Ruy Lopez. So knight d2, a3, and rook a2. So white is planning to play rook e1 to a1 later, winning the a file. It will be very hard for black to keep the a file, because okay, especially after bishop d7, he doesn't even have this bishop c6. So who would protect the rook on a8? You just cannot play queen b7 and stay there forever just because of 8 takes b4 could happen one day. So this is way how white is fighting for the a file. Black decided to leave it because, as I told, it's just impossible to keep the tension. So white just goes rook a1, having this control. But okay, there's nothing on this file, and black has good defenses. So yeah, white should be better. White should be better. He has space. And now after winning the a file, having some interesting options like having this rook a7 options or even rook a8 at some point. Now it's some time to consider how to handle the king side. So let's continue with the game. Knight g5, it's a typical way of exchanging pieces, but now it's Black decided to take with the pawn. He could take with the bishop, which is a standard approach, just getting rid of this bad bishop against this seemingly better bishop. But it's making this weakness on d6 much more sensitive. So even though computer prefers bishop takes g5, I pretty understand the decision Black made this h takes g5. Keeping better control over this weakness, because one day it could be very hard to protect the pawn against rook a6. So bishop d1, knight f4, and bishop g4, and this is standard. You just want to keep the bishop on the opposite square color than there are your blocked pawns, and exchange the other one. So Black has this good bishop on d7, you have the worse bishop on g4, so you just are happy with exchange. Now I'm not sure why it didn't take on d7, if he was afraid of some counterplay here. Doesn't seem like very strong counterplay, but maybe. I don't actually understand this decision, because this bishop g4, it looks too logical to me just to take on d7, and engine agrees with me, just get rid of this bishop and have some options like rook a7. Not sure what is this about. So in game rook a7 happened, f5 and bishop f3, and this is now getting close to equal according to engine, which may still be better for white. But looks like some waste of time white made here, and yeah, I'm not. There was probably some tactics. White was afraid here. He probably didn't want to take the knight, because there would come some bishop f6 later. And when you cannot take the knight, you can feel a bit uncomfortable with some moves like king g7, rook h8. So this is what I suppose was reason of white's play here, that he was worried about some ideas like this attack on the king side, and being worried that okay, after taking the knight, this bishop f6 could happen to find some nice squares on this diagonal. So this is what happened. Knight d3, exchange, and f4. Okay, now this usually is pretty drawish once you play some bishop d2. Because the bishops can no longer enter the opposite camp, so the defending side simply has extra bishop to defend against these rooks. So it's usually a pretty drawish after move like bishop d2, but white found a nice move. Bishop takes c1. It's a tricky move, and you must be careful even for moves like whatever, like king f8 or whatever, because there's actually no retreat for the bishop anyway. So if there is some direct tactics explaining that okay, you cannot take now with queen, you cannot take now with pawn or whatever, you must still think about one extra option, that the bishop will not leave even the next move. So black actually has some time to regroup, but it's just working. Queen takes c5 happened in the game, which seems a bit weird to me, because it's just giving up the pawn, and thus white will have very easy enter to black's position, having control over the only open file. So I would probably search for something else. I don't know. D takes c5. That's d6. Let's check bishop f6 and rook c7. This is a reason why black didn't go for variation like this, because this is immediately completely over. Let's check it further. Bishop g4, and just on this light square you will be completely destroyed. The king will. It's a close to mate, I would say. So this is the reason why d takes c5 didn't happen, but actually I would prefer to play anything but queen takes c5, which seems not to give many options for white to go wrong. I mean, the game can still continue for a lot of moves, but this seems a bit like resignation to me. We need to compensate that rook a to a7, very logical move. This option here, bishop b6, check, king h7, check, check, and now to do some. Okay, that's king h2 and queen b1. Interesting. So computer says this one, just keep things protected for a while, and then to try to find some luck on this light squares, just hiding the king on h1. But that's it's certain it gives a counterplay to black. So this is the reason why white didn't go for it, because it looks like a serious counterplay. But okay, with this 2 rooks on 7th rank, also white has some play. So queen e2 happened, exchange, rook a6, g4. Okay, this is one of ways how it's possible to play this position, because you need counterplay against f2, but it's just leaving you the second pawn, and the counterplay is not strong enough. So this position is just developing very badly for black. So this is how the game continues. This f3 is interesting, as at least white must recapture with the pawn, making this square nice for some potential, I don't know, queen entrance or bishop entrance or even the rook. But on the other hand, there's nothing within reach of the square. It would be nice if there was a knight, then it makes sense because it's attacking light squares. But when you put your queen to f4 and I just keep my bishop on g4, it's undestroyable. The position is just impossible to breach, because there's just so many defenders, and with this counterplay it's hard. But okay, it still looks like black could potentially hold some fortress, blocking, just keep control over dark squares. But with a lot of time for white to regroup, he will just start sacrificing later some material to make some initiative against the weak king. So this is not gonna work for forever, this type of blockade. Bishop f4, queen a2, and this is the problem, that the bishop is nice here but is actually doing nothing, and this king will just be perfectly safe, and white has free hands to attack. Let's say this way, rook c6 and queen a6 just attack the pieces. And this is end of the game. White just took the next pawn, and now He's just going to win the end game. So this is our number 3, Nodirbek Abdusattorov. And I hope you like the game, this time a bit more positional approach, and see you in the next part of my video series. Thank you for watching.